are you doing, beloved?
Attention, attention, my black brothers. What I want y'all to do right now is take out the do-rag, the silky, tie it down. I want to see the waves glistening. If you got nappy hair, pick it. Don't let nobody discourage you.
Ariel.
Black boy.
What have you been watching?
Oh gosh. I've been watching a lot of shows. So first off, I just finished The Hype on HBO Max, which is like a streetwear competition, which I like absolutely like love.
Of course you do.
I am watching the nine Perfect Strangers, or like 9 Strangers on Hulu.
How do you like that? I'm planning to look at that next.
I like it. I just had to figure out what was going on. Like, it's kind of a slow burn in the beginning, but I actually like what I'm seeing.
Okay.
And then I am watching, Drag Race, of course, Big Brother, which I absolutely love. I'm watching Big Brother. Like, hold on.
You love a motherfucking competition show.
I love a fucking competition.
You too. You really do.
And I watch a lot of shows. Of course, Potomac. I'm like watching Potomac as it airs. I actually have a list. Let me pull up. That's what my list of shows that I'm watching. I am, because I have like a check. Like Thursdays are the days where I have to like check off the shows that I'm like watching. So I'm watching Sweet Life with Issa Rae as like the executive producer on HBO.
It started.
The Hype. Yeah, it did. I think they have like 4 episodes now. American Horror Story.
Okay.
Because I just finished American Horror Story, so now I'm doing American Horror Story. Stargirl, which is on CW. It's like a superhero show. Drag Race, Big Brother, and Grownish. So I am watching all of those right now. So Thursdays are typically the day where I like binge all of my shows. It's typically like a 12-hour thing. But I'm probably not going to watch all those shows today.
Okay.
What about you? What are you watching?
Yeah,
if you have time.
As you know, I am and have been watching. I'm always watching Real Housewives of Potomac. Any of the Black franchises, I'm in there like swimwear.
You are watching it, yes.
But I told you when Kaylin was here that I've been watching the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I was never going to watch beforehand. And it isn't even because of Marcel that I'm watching now. I'm watching because this stuff with Erica Jane is really...
It's an actual storyline.
Erica Jane, it's really interesting. Like, her husband's definitely a criminal, and she's definitely, complicit in that shit, which is why she got really defensive when Dorit said the word complicit. So... I have
Miss Doritos.
Yeah, that's what they call her. One of my favorite, I think it's Mindspeak. He's one of my favorite rituals, calls her Dorito. I just started a new show. Well, it's not new, but I just started it. It's called C. It's on Apple TV. First of all, let me just plug them really quickly. Even though I'm not getting paid for this, their content is so good.
It's very quality.
Schmigadoon, which I know you would love. It's a musical. It's really cute. I cried. I laughed. I'm watching Truth Be Told, which has Octavia Spencer. And
Viola Davis.
Tammy Roman's in that.
Really?
Yeah. And I loved the first season. I loved it. So the second season started. It airs on Fridays. Season 2 of C will be coming up. What else have I been watching? I think that might be
It's action-packed too.
Yeah. I'm going to start White Lotus next. Omar told me to watch
First episode, First episode is good.
So I'm going to do that. And then I'm sure that at some point I'll watch something else. Yeah.
You look good.
Thank you.
It's just give me very flamboyant, just very feminine, you actually look like a tour guide, at a zoo. You have the thing around your neck, like a hat, and then you have the flannel with the cheetah. Is that cheetah?
Yeah, leopard.
It's
just
like a
cheetah.
gay tour guide. It's like a gay tour guide.
The cheetah girls didn't even wear the right print. But yeah, thank you. Since I've been in New Orleans, I feel freer than I did in DC. And I would wear what I wanted to in DC, but I feel like there was this sort of pressure for me to present in another way. And I mean, I still feel like my gender expression is pretty versatile, but I'm having fun dressing up here and putting different things on, and it just feels like natural to the place. And I think that's what it is. Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't say that I felt less comfortable in DC. I just felt like an oddity versus being here, and it just is like, this is literally people do whatever in New Orleans. And I'm so glad to be a part of this community now.
You've also been there, like, I mean, you also been here for like ever.
Yeah.
So like,
3 years.
You're probably just like there. Over.
3 years.
You're like over this.
I am so over it.
I know. I mean, look where you are now. But what is up, everybody? It is your boy, Lord Devery.
And I'm Derwin King.
And welcome back to another episode of That Black Boy Joy, where we create a space where Black boys can be themselves.
And so much more.
And you all, we are by ourselves today. We are in this, like, together, like, right now. And we're like, why not talk to each other? We've had so many guests on and we haven't, like, spent some time with each other, kiki chit chat like we usually would do. So today's episode with just us two, but don't fret. We will be having more guests in the future.
Yeah, I just want to say that I really missed our quality time. I feel like when I first joined, there was a lot of time that we just like had solo episodes. And don't get me wrong, I love our guests, but I just love it when the two of us are like in deep conversation, because I just feel like this shit just rolls, you know? Like, we see.
I think that's the chemistry that we have.
Yeah, girl. So
we have that chemistry. So I'm always excited when it's just me and you, because we get to be intimate and focus on each other instead of giving the space to our guests, which is perfectly fine. But it's also moments where we need to pour into each other. So this is going to be a fun episode, and I'm super excited for today for our listeners and our viewers.
Yes.
So
okay. Yeah. So I'm going to lead the charge today. I'm actually really excited about it. Today we're gonna do interviews, or at least I'm going to interview Devery. Before I do, though, I wanted to ask you, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Moscato. I was gonna say Chardonnay, bitch. I'm drinking Moscato. It's very sweet. So I was definitely like, what am I drinking? I am drinking Barefoot Moscato, honey.
I feel like I am very often drinking Pinot Grigio, which is exactly what I'm drinking right now.
It's dry, bitch. It's very dry.
You know, I love me a dry white. In person, honestly. Dry whites are better.
I was like this. Girl, dry whites? Just like your man. Dry white. I can't. I need
well, wonderful. So, before we get into it, let me go ahead and do our Black Boy Joy Spotlight. It goes out to Robert Jones Jr., native New Yorker, writer, and author. He is the creator of the social media community Son of Baldwin. And his debut novel, The Prophets, released earlier this year. I think it was on January 5th. He has a BFA with honors and an MFA in fiction from Brooklyn College. The Prophet is available in several editions. So I went through the website, and this was amazing to me. There's like 7 different versions of this fucking book. So there's the North American version, which is obviously going to be ours, the Spanish translated version. There's an Israeli version of this book, okay? And then,
this is transcontinental.
Oh, and then there's an Australian one, which is obviously going to be Australian English. Well, I think it really is just about the layout of the book, but nonetheless. Yeah. Then there's a French translated version of the book, Netherlands, Italian.
Girl, this is all over the place.
Yeah. And then there's a slipcover version of the book. So really quickly, going to read a couple of the reviews. So this one's from the New York Times. An often lyrical and rebellious love story embedded with a tender call out to Black readers, reaching across time and form to shake something old, mighty in the blood. The Prophet's attempts to give its Black characters a Black audience the same gifts, our right names, our Black knowing, a freedom outside of time and circumstance. What a fiery kindness, that ending, this book. A book I entered hesitantly, cautiously, I exited anew, something in me unloose, running. May this book cast its spell on all of us, restore to us some memory of our most warrior and softest selves. Loved that. So beautifully written. Just,
Yes.
Also, we are, I can speak for myself. The term "something in me unloosed," I think is really relevant to our show and what our mission is. This other one's from the Griot, spectacular. An intimate, poetic, queer love story, and a detailed and excruciating portrait of life on a Mississippi plantation. Jones excels at ensemble storytelling, treating each character with compassion while also brutally unsparing about the system they're living under and the harmful compromises people living under the system sometimes made to survive. And then the last one, which it gives a little bit of the plot, which I would love to comment on. A love story about two young enslaved men in the antebellum South is a hard premise to pull off, and yet with the Prophets, Robert Jones Jr. wildly succeeds. The Prophet contains some of the most gorgeous writing I've read, and that's Jeffrey Masters with The Advocate, who wrote that review. Yes, girl. Enslaved.
That's a very
loaded,
unique story to tell.
I'm excited to read this. I have not read it yet. David Johns actually recommended it.
Posted, yeah.
Yeah, so you saw it on his Instagram. I had for a long time wondered if there were, and of course there were, right? We've existed forever. Gay or queer slaves, because we get love stories from slave stories all the time. Absolutely, but they're always between either master and slave or mistress and slave, or it's the enslaved but heterosexual. And I was like, why are the stories of queer people during slavery never told? And then whenever we talk about them hypothetically, it's always the master abusing one of the men, right? And I'm really excited to jump into a world where a story like this one is told, and I can't wait to talk to you and our listeners about it.
I'm an avid reader, so that's the thing. I have so many books that I'm reading right now. I'm actually reading a book during the Civil War era as well, too, right now. So it's just and it's based about it. It's based with slaves as the forefront, but as zombie slayers. So
nice.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I don't love fiction, but I mean, since we are we're going to have a fiction writer on in a couple of weeks. I'm definitely going to read this too. I'm going to have some fiction stuff under my belt. I love an autobiography.
You just spoiled something.
No, I actually wanted to tell the people that we are
okay. I was you literally just spoiled it, but it's okay.
I'm sorry. But we will have a fiction writer on soon.
Yes.
So let's get into these rants. The crate challenge.
Yes. Oh my God, girl! The girls are injuring themselves. I actually seen that somebody got died from it.
Yeah, I have seen a woman break her arm first. Isn't that crazy?
Girl, it is absurd. People are literally hurting themselves for a trend. It was just remember when the cinnamon challenge was a thing? Everybody was choking on cinnamon, and then another challenge was the ice bucket challenge, and then another challenge, was I can't even think of another challenge that was trending, but the girls just love to injure themselves.
You said, did you do the ice and salt one? Do you remember that?
No, that's actually that's kind of
super dangerous. They would lick their hands, put salt on it, and then put ice right on top of it, which I'm pretty sure whatever. It would cause burns. And people were permanently fucking damaged off of that. I have a scar on my hand from one of those times. You see it right here? When they were you take a eraser and
you just shut up
and then you put it on your hand. I was probably 8 when I did that stupid shit.
We used to make tattoos with ourselves. We used to burn our skins and make
my fucking tattoo. And as far as the crate challenge goes, I think the first video we saw was clearly either a community or a family sort of activity. And of course it was stupid and unsafe, but it was just someone was we see people do innovative things, to keep themselves entertained all the time. This was not a challenge. Like, this was just something that was like a one-off, and then people were like, I'm gonna do that too, and suddenly it was like a quote-unquote challenge. Let me just say, anytime that there's something in America that becomes a challenge, it becomes the most obnoxious thing in the fucking world. I can't stand it.
I live for it. I live for the stupidity.
And now people are dead.
I just live for it. People, I'm not living for that, but I am living for just like how we make things just become so viral.
Yeah, we do.
Literally, I feel like there was something else that went viral like recently. Like, I don't know. I can't think of it right now, but I literally just think about challenges that people have been doing, and I'm just like, child, we're trying to injure ourselves.
You hear it?
Pour you something to drink. You know, I can't actually eat that, girl.
Because I started drinking this before we were recording. I feel like it's been a while since I had me a good drink. That's a lie.
The last
I had one on when Caitlin was here. Yeah.
Yes, you did. We all did.
Damn lie.
We all had something to drink, girl.
We did.
I said, it was a short episode, bitch, but I was about to be zooted.
You know it.
Stop. Because you know I had one of those cocktails that you like already make.
Yeah.
So I was like,
remember you telling me that's straight.
I need to go back and go get one, but
y'all be calling
the crate challenge. Girl, what are you drinking out of a fucking cauldron?
Oh, this is my chalice.
Yo, challenge.
You know who got this for me? Omar got it for me in London.
Omar.
He knows me very well. I love a dramatic cup, honey. And you know, I'm about my drinking utensils. My what do you call them? Whatever. My cups. I'm very passionate about them. And this is the only wine like shaped cup I have right now. I only have flutes, and I don't like drinking non-sparkling things out of flutes. You know how I am, and I'm very serious about it.
Oh, girl, I know how you are.
On to the next.
Crate challenge. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I hope everybody just stops doing it.
But I did know that running down it is probably the smartest decision unless you're good at distributing your weight appropriately.
Girl, I'm not, bitch. Going up there, I would have probably failed.
If you catch me on a good day, I can do it. Sometimes I'm a good twinkle toes, and just keep your weight in the center and you're good. Don't go to the edge. Did you see the link I sent you about this next one? Or am I going to be introduced to you? Okay.
So I think you're good. Wait, I don't remember.
Lil Nas X calls out the lack of public outrage over Tony Hawk's blood-infused skateboard.
I've seen that. What did you think about that? I think it's hypocritical, of course. Like, the girl's doing damn near the same thing that Lil Nas was doing. He's putting his blood in something.
Why did you say damn near? And not the exact same thing? And I'm not criticizing. I just want to know why.
No. I mean, it's the same thing. Damn near to me is always like it's the same thing. I don't know, like
that damn near
it's the same thing. I don't know how. Yeah, it's damn near the same thing. I don't know how much blood is in both of them. I don't know.
It's a stupid thing to do in general. I don't understand why you would want to do that.
Why are you putting your blood in fucking shit? I think it's also just interesting.
I don't understand why.
Why are we selling those? Why do we need?
Why do people to have access to your blood? And maybe it wasn't his blood. Like maybe, and not Tony Hawk's, but Lil Nas X. Maybe it was someone else's. But regardless, like, why are you guys interested in selling things that have blood in them? What is happening?
Like, what is the reason? Like,
what is the reason? Why?
I don't know why they're putting their blood in these things.
I think it's clear why there is a difference in how the overall society is responding to this. And I don't think it has anything to do with race. I think that everyone is I shouldn't say everyone, because obviously not everyone cared that much, but the people who were outraged about Lil Nas X doing it, who weren't focused on the homophobia, of course, do not like satanic imagery. And this particular shoe was like a Satan shoe. Was it not called a Satan shoe? Yeah, for his Satan shoes.
Bitch, it was a Satan shoe, yes.
All right, so that makes people uncomfortable, right? Like, I think one thing we have to be really cognizant about, and this isn't to coddle Christians. Let me be clear on this, okay? I'm not asking anyone to coddle or cater, the world or how we express ourselves or what we create to Christians or zealots alike. But we are in really distressing times right now. On top of the pandemic, researching us having been in it in the first place, and then, climate change affecting everyone in really drastic ways. People are losing their minds so often, and we have access to this information at the drop of a dime because social media. The perception right now and the common belief is that we are in what people call the end days, right? The end of our times, which none of us have any real way of knowing if the world is actually going to collapse at any given time. We literally never know. But based on what many religions and disciplines say, all the signs of the end are here. So I think the uplifting of satanic imagery is making people really uncomfortable because of that. I know that this is a really heavy thing to bring up, but this has been in my mind. And if you look it up, people are talking about this on Twitter all the time. Are we in the end times? They say it all the time. This is in the back of a lot of our minds. So I think there's a particular discomfort around the celebration or uplifting or the lack of denouncing satanic imagery that really upset people. And despite Tony Hawk's very disturbing blood-infused skateboards, there's not a prominent or distinct celebration or just like presentation of satanic imagery. And I think that that's why there's a difference in the outrage.
Yeah. Lil Nas X album comes out September.
Yes, plug it.
First. Anyways, I'm sweating. No, I definitely get what you're saying. I think it was the presentation of it all for Lil Nas's shoes that I think it was all just publicity too, because it was leading up to I'm going to jail for these shoes, and then he dropped
that poor baby.
He dropped Montero.
Great song.
The song. So I just was like,
people love it.
Girl, what? Wait, that's funny.
I heard it on the radio the other day.
Not Call Me By Your Name, but it was the other song.
I mean, isn't it? Oh, no, Montero was that song. I don't even know what that shit is called.
With Jake.
Fuck him, Jake Harlow.
It's Industry Baby. Yeah, it's Industry Baby. So, I'm excited to hear my sister on it. Yeah, it is the same. I think it was the marketing that is happening for both. So, yeah. My sister's mad. So
the next thing is that my good Judy, okay, I don't know her, but I stand her. And she's hosting the VMAs. Did you know that?
Who?
Doja Cat.
I thought she was performing.
No, she's hosting. You didn't know that?
No, I thought she was performing.
Right?
I want to see how this goes.
What are your concerns? Because I would love to read you a tweet that was really funny to me. So it's at ddpayne_ says, I'm so excited about Doja hosting the VMAs, but also so nervous for my sister because, baby, that sense of humor is not universal, which I can attest to. It literally is
not at all.
If you have been a fan of Doja Cat, even for the last 3 years, right? You know that sis is a whole fucking fool. Like, she's a goddamn dumbass. Not in intelligence, but just in the way that she expresses herself. She's a fool.
She's a hot mess.
She is. ColorPup1 on Twitter says she got the sense of humor of a 12-year-old white boy. Lord, I'ma pray. Now, I too am concerned because honestly, when Moo dropped, a lot of people took it as a really as a serious song, as her actually making something that was supposed to cross charts and shit. And it was literally just Doja doing what Doja does best. I feel like I've said that so many times on this damn show. So that is the type of humor that Miss Amala is about to bring to the stage of the VMAs. Trust and believe it, okay?
Yeah,
so we'll see how the public takes it. I'm just really proud of her. If nothing else, I have so much love and pride in Miss Doja Cat. Why are you reading this Moscato bottle?
You see me?
He actually has this Moscato bottle up in the camera, and he is reading it. What are you trying to find out, honey? How many times have you had this drink? What is it that you need to see on that label?
I was trying to see how much alcohol was in here.
Your ass must be getting tipsy. That's what it is, child. Well, what is the percentage, honey? Because let me check.
9% by volume.
Oh, I'm on 11.5, child.
Well, right, but I was listening to you, sis. I
wasn't.
You know, I've been living for my girl Kiki. She's been hosting things, and I would have loved to see Kiki host something again.
Yeah.
I don't know if the girls like Kiki. I think she hosted it last year. I would love to be her friend.
Oh, Kiki, she's hilarious. I really enjoy her energy in general. Like,
she's like us as like grinding girls. She's the millennial that you want to be. Like, as a millennial, like she's out here still being a millennial, but she's also getting bags.
yes.
She's also about to be in a movie with Jordan Peele. I know that's off topic, but shout out to Doja. I'm super excited. I'll be, of course, tuning in because I think Beyonce's going to be there too. So
very, very excited. I hope she is there, and I hope that she's not. Is she nominated for anything? Do we know who's nominated for anything? Whatever.
I don't think she's not. I know Olivia Rodrigo, my girl Olivia Rodrigo. She also gave Paramore writing credits on "Good for You" because it sounds like "Misery."
Who?
So
Olivia. I don't know who. I know who Paramore is. Yeah. I don't know who Olivia.
Yeah, Olivia Rodrigo gave Paramore writing credits on "Good for You." She's driver's license. She's got my driver's license last week. Okay. Another song by her. Good for you, so happy. Okay, you don't know shit. Anyways, she just gave them writing credit, which is very smart because the song does have similarities to Misery, which I know you know what Misery is by Paramore. Which I was like, that's very smart.
What a group.
And then also, OnlyFans has resigned their resignation of rescinded. What is it? Reversed their banning of sex on OnlyFans.
It's too late. My sister has burned too many bridges, and there's nothing I can do for her now.
And there's nothing I can do for her.
I watched a community of sex workers panic and worry about how they were going to pay their bills.
They were on Twitter Spaces
platform dismantled sexual content, and a lot of the ones who are resilient or who were already hip were migrating over to Just for Fans. And I tweeted that if they were already doing so, they should continue to do so. And if anyone hadn't already started migrating, they need to.
They need to get
OnlyFans
over
should
now.
Absolutely pay for the complete disregard for how they were making their money. And it isn't that public outrage and bullying stopped them from or was the reason that they changed their minds. They probably realized how much of their fucking money was coming from these sex workers. And now
it's a lot of money.
And now you're doubling back, right? This is not a win for the people. A win for the people will be if they move forward without using this platform. I would love to see the demise of OnlyFans because they completely disregarded a demographic of people who were holding them together. The only reason we know what OnlyFans is because of sexual content. You understand?
Get into it, yeah.
And so I'm not interested in continuing to support a platform that was going to dismantle something that mainly Black and brown and queer people were using for their standard of living, for their, what is it called? Their livelihood.
That lively motherfucking hood.
Go ahead.
No, I was just like, well, my girls are definitely like, bitch, what do we do next? Because I know on Twitter Spaces, which I love Twitter Spaces, like it is definitely like my clubhouse. The girls were like, it's so many like girls that use OnlyFans, content creators, as what I would call them.
Yeah,
they were in those chats like talking about, bitch, what is our next moves? What do we need to LLC? I was like, my sisters over here trying to figure out, bitch, where their next bag is gonna come.
Exactly, of course they were.
I'm cracking up.
Well, now that we're done with those, we are going to get started with my interview of Devery. We're going to get into a number of questions that I hope you have not seen yet. So let's get into it.
Okay.
Okay, sister. So I'm really excited to do this because there are some things I wanted to know about you and about this endeavor. And then also some things I want the audience to know, the listeners. I just feel like it's your time to shine. We do so we always interview our guests, right? And then we did that like questions and answers thing, which was, you know, a little something around the house. You know, it was a little cute little questions, but like the getting to know, I feel like wasn't going to happen unless we actually carve time to ask the questions in the style and depth that we ask our guests, because we want our listeners to know our guests. So our listeners and viewers are gonna know you.
This is so interesting.
Have you seen the questions today. Or not?
No.
Good.
I did it on purpose. I literally did it on purpose. Like I didn't open anything at all.
I'm very thankful that you did not, because I'm really excited. I crafted these for you.
So these are all no script. No script.
So, as we know, you relocated from your, I'm assuming, birthplace and hometown.
Not birthplace, technically. I was not born
in Ohio.
There.
Where were you born?
No, I moved there. I was born here.
Oh, you did say that.
Yeah, I was born in D.C. and then I Walter Reed, so I think probably in Maryland. But I was born in D.C. and then I lived in Germany, and then I went to Ohio.
And you were raised in Dayton.
Ohio was where I've been raised. Yeah, I was raised in Dayton. Yeah.
So, as a person who has originated the origins of Dayton, Ohio, you relocated after college. Why did you choose to leave Ohio?
I always was an East Coast kid at heart. Originally, I wanted to move to New York, but I started to do my research into New York and just realized, like, I was not that girl from New York. Like, I wanted a space that still felt like not as busy as New York was, but also just still had that, like, hustle and bustle. I also got a job here through a nonprofit. So I think I just wanted to be here because, like, I came here for the Million Man March, and I just loved how political it was. Also, it was like a lot of like Black men here, and I just wanted to be in a space where I felt like our representation was stronger than it was in Ohio. So I just came here because I just felt like I needed a fresh start. I wanted to be somewhere on the East Coast that was still like have this hustle and bustle mindset, but like just like I could have the opportunity to come out of it. So knowing about the DMV, like how all of it is like interchangeable, and every space has its like strengths and weaknesses. So I just thought it was like the best space for me to move, for me to like experience like a city. Like I lived in a small city, but it wasn't as welcoming to like inclusivity as the DMV area, DC is. So
that was the second half of my question, but I want to nuance it a little bit. Why not any other city? Why not New York? Why not LA? Why not Philadelphia?
Yeah. So I applied here. It was because of like the program I was applying for. I don't know. I think I just like felt comfortable here. Like I've always wanted to move to LA. I've always wanted to be in like a big city like New York, but like I just didn't have like, it was farther away. Those places were like far. Okay, so not New York, but LA was like super far.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was ready to be that far away from my family. I'm very close to my family. Everybody knows on and off camera, I'm like always home. But I think for me, the DMV area it just seemed more, it was queer and Black and queer too. And I think I liked that representation. When I came here, I just felt like it just was so like Black millennials just like hustling and bustling. Like Howard was like the Mecca. Yeah. So like it was a lot of people that were here that were Black professionals. And I think I wanted to be in that space. I know LA, like it's just like a lot of like Latinx community and like a lot of like content creators and like influencers. And I wasn't in that like realm yet. So I wanted to be in this space where it was more of like a like educated Black and also queer people of color here, like just like all trying to get a bag and try to be in like the like business world, or like not business, like political space.
And now that you've been here for a while, how do you feel about being being away from your family? How do you feel about it now?
There's definitely some challenges with me being here with my family. I'm always like constantly reminded of like how I am still woven into my family and I'm not there. Like I am definitely the person that they call to like vent about things because I'm not there to like have a bias. So they're always calling me about like, Dad did this, or my sister did this, or Mom did that. Like literally all three of them called me today to talk about a story, and all three of them had different stories. And I was like, who is telling the truth?
Right.
Like, who is the person I should be mad at, upset at? So I think it's always a challenge, but I always make an effort to always go back home for the holidays, or when I really feel down and out and just like need that like reassurance. Like when I first got here, I was always driving back home. But now I have the access and resources to fly back. So I've made it like my mission to like, if I feel like I want to see family, like book a flight and just go back home and just like spend time with them. So it is a challenge as we get older and as my family gets older, making sure like I try to find a way to have balance with me still being as like all over the world, but still like close to them. Yeah. So I'm definitely trying to figure out that like balance, because like I still want to live life before I feel like I have to go back to like take care of business or like make sure things are like tied up and all that. And not just leave like my sister there to do all of it. But I definitely like have had that like conversation.
You say that like your parents are like close to the end.
It's no. It's interesting because we've been having this conversation like recently, and I'm like, y'all are like 50.
That's midway through life, through the normal lifespan.
But I don't know, is this just like the conversation of like, what does my future look like? Yeah. I don't know what like a lot of my parents are like talking about like insurance and all that stuff. And I'm like, hey, y'all tell me something I don't need to know. Like, what?
No, you should know this. And also, you know, they can always like, let's say something happens, right? You get your wildest dreams, which we'll talk about later. And you now have a lot of money, and they relocate to you. Like, no matter what happens,
I'm bringing it with me.
Yeah,
my gut. I'm bringing my family. Like, I cannot wait to become successful, because like my story, I'm going to have my parents, my family with me as much as I can, because like they got me to where I am. And I also like want them to see me be successful before something happens. So like, I want them to enjoy the life that we were not afforded. So yeah, I definitely, whatever happens, I'm going to bring them on this journey with me, but I'm also going to create like boundaries so I'm not being like used. But I wouldn't ever expect that from like my immediate family.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to, because this is something that happens to me often as well. Just wanted to, no matter where you are, you know, your family is like a flight away, and no matter what happens, you know, you don't need to be planted at home in order for you to be supportive and to help and, you know, and to show love. And I'm saying it to you, and I'm also like making a mental note of it in my head since I recently moved away.
Yes.
So obviously coming to a new city and starting from scratch means that you had to find friends, build community in a new way. And I know that you've had some ups and some downs with the friend process here. I mean, you kind of got a couple of horror stories there. No lie.
I've had some moments. I've had some good moments. I've had some bad moments. I've had some what the fuck moments.
Yeah. But
Wow.
What do you look for in a friend? Now that you've gone through all of those things, right? Through the good and through the bad, what is it that makes a good friend for Devery?
I think a friend for me, what makes a really good friend to me is somebody that has like emotional stability. I feel like I am someone that loves to pour into my friends mentally, physically, emotionally. And I would hope that I would get that back. Recently understanding my mental health and all of that right now, I definitely look for like friends that I can just be transparent and honest with. Like, we don't always have to have plans to like go out and to run the streets or be, you know, at the clubs or bars and all that stuff like that. It's really just like us checking on each other to see how we are doing and see how we can assist each other as our relationship grows, intimate, platonically intimate, and all of those things. So for me, it definitely like, I value people that are very transparent, equipped with a form of vulnerability that is like essential to me, because like I love to just be deep and honest and transparent. And I hope that my friends are like that with me to allow me to grow. But I think just a sense of like understanding of where they're trying to go in life, or just like, how does this shit like add up and make sense? I'm just tired of being in spaces that I feel like are not filled with intentionality. I think that I've like thrown out that word a lot recently, and I'm like always like now I'm obsessed with like, what is this space for? What is this? What are your intentions for this? What are your intentions for that? Like always moving with intentions to understand what is aligned. So definitely I think my friendships right now, I'm always like, how is this, I don't want to say transactional, but how can we both help each other elevate to this success that we are trying to achieve? So
I think that's something that people get a little tripped up on, because you don't want your friendships to be transactional in that I do this for you, you do this for me, or that like when something is done, there's an expectation that the favor is returned, or that there's, you know, some sort of like I hold you owe me, right? But all of our relationships are about fulfilling each other's needs. So in some level, it is transactional, but there's a healthy way to do that. And it isn't transactional in the sense that it's like boom, 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 but more so that there's a healthy sharing and exchange of intimacy. Do you feel like you've gotten that?
Absolutely. I think that when I first got here, in the beginning, I didn't know what I was looking for. I think I was in a space where I was here by myself. I didn't know nobody. So in the beginning, I was just looking for physical bodies that I could like surround myself around. But when I started to cultivate my identity and who I am out here, I think I started to have requirements and more understanding of who I wanted to be in my close circle and who I wanted to be circle adjacent. I think that was something that I was like really intentional about. There's people to this day, like friends that I like know who I can call right now and be like, girl, let's vent, really like honest, candid, no judgment. Let's do this. Let's pull up so I can like, cause I'm a person that like, I'll pull up to you with no, like, I'll get into your apartment somehow. And I'll be like, bro, I got the liquor. I got the food. What are we going to do? Let's do this. Or I'm that type of person that's like, okay, like, you need me to come pick you up from this deserted area. If I can make it there, I'll do that. So I realize I'm not giving that energy to everybody anymore. That was something that I was doing beforehand. I was giving people like this 100% dev when I believe that they didn't deserve it. So I had to reevaluate who I was giving 100% to, because like I needed to, and it's not me being transactional. I need pouring into each other. We're feeding each other's plates. We're filling each other's plates. We're making sure we're both okay. Not me just like, you know, making sure you're okay. And then when I'm around, you're not asking, how are you, Dad? You know, like, I think it's more of that type of like nuance. But yeah, I think for me, I'm like making sure I'm like delegating time to people I think deserve the full me.
Do you find that easier historically with your women friends, or?
In the beginning, I had more, historically, I've always had more female friends, but then when I first moved here, I had a large group of male friends, which was something that was so foreign to me. I had never been in a space where there was so many Black queer men, like, just like thriving or just like being in each other's spaces and cultivating relationships platonically and romantically. So naturally, yes, it's with women. But when I first moved here, I had a lot of male friends. But then gradually, I started to get back into my friends that are female, like being those strong ones I have. But right now, I think where I'm at currently, I have a mixture of that right now. I definitely have my strong male friends and my like my strong female friends as well, where I pour into. And I really want that specifically in my male friendships. Like my male friendships when I first came here, I didn't think that we had that vulnerability or that intimate platonic relationship. I think I was just like, let's turn up, let's hang out, and like let's be catty and like messy. And I'm like, that wasn't always me. That was just like the theme of the interactions.
Yeah.
But when I started to be like, no, I want these type of male friends or interactions. How do we cultivate that? Yeah. That's when I started to create these like spaces with male and females both being able to like bring that into my space.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that on this show, about the importance of brotherhood, about being able to relate to people who look like you. I think we find it easy to relate to and have intimate relationships with women who tend to be more emotionally intelligent, just culturally and socially. But it definitely takes effort as gay Black men to create a community of brotherhood.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's worked out for you. I'm glad that you're finding that.
It definitely has. In the beginning, I used to be like, this was like, my eyes were just so wide open to like so many things. I was just like, just the community, just like the parties, the spaces. I was just like, I'm a boy from the Midwest. I've not been to a gay club yet until I came here. Like, I had not been in spaces where we all were like who's wearing this or wearing that. I just was like, I'm just here to have a good time, to connect. I'm being my like, I'm very animated. I'm very like, what's up, y'all? Woo, woo, woo. And some people were not like fond of that. And I was like, well, girl, take it or leave it, because that's what I'm giving.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't aware of the glares and the side eyes that I was going to get with that until I like got here, and I was like, ooh, this is what you really see on TV.
How about it? And I, in the vein of that, I realize I say that a lot and I like it. In the vein of that, what do you look for in a partner?
Ooh, I think that is something I'm navigating every day. My partners have looked different across like just like personalities, physical features, like all of those things. I think I'm still trying to grapple with what I like and what I would like in my space.
Well, let me clean that up. Let me clean the question up for that reason.
Okay, do that. Let's do that.
What needs do you need to be fulfilled from a partner, right? Because this makes it specific to you and less about who they are personality-wise and physically. So it's about what you need.
I definitely need someone that is transparent and willing to communicate goods, bads, highs, lows, whatever the case may be. I feel like that is something that I've been practicing and implementing into my space. So I definitely would love that in my partner. Also someone that is like very funny like I am, like does not take things too serious. I don't take myself that serious, so I would not want my partner to be just very like anal about certain things. I'm like, girl, we only live once, like shit happens.
So safety, relaxation, or comfort.
Yeah, comfort. I think someone that pushes me to step out of my comfort zone or boundaries. I love someone that challenges me to stay on my grind. Like I'm someone that like once I feel down, bitch, it is a hard pull from coming out of there. So I would love, and not saying that they need to be my happiness, but just remind me to be happy. Yeah, just to motivate me, to get me out of that. And then just like that, that resource. Like, I think I'm just like really looking for like, if there's moments of like, hey, let's just like chill and like, let's like find some things to do or just like navigate this space together. I want to have that sense of safety where I could do that and not feel like I have to like wear this like this mask or be something that I am not completely. So I'm just like looking for safety, emotional stability, transparency, and I think just like vulnerability. Like, I think that, like, if you cannot be, like, I want to say, like, 2 of the 4, we don't have a hard time getting connected. No,
you need all of your needs met. So,
I know. And
regardless of how it shows up, those are the things. See, this is why I asked you what needs you want to be, or you want fulfilled by a partner, because I think it's so easy for us to say, I want the person to be like this and be like that and be like that. But I've heard this in general. And then also I was in a Clubhouse room called True Love Society. They do it on Tuesdays, this particular one. And I was reminded that when we say we want something from a partner, what we're really saying is, I need this need fulfilled in a romantic relationship. And when you're clear about that, not only are you open to the possibilities of how it may show up, but you're not compromising being happy or fulfilled in a relationship. And if nothing else, we should always be fulfilled in our relationship, or at least have a foundation for that, where if we're not fulfilled, we can work on it, right? So don't compromise those things that you feel that you need, because you're not, it's not as if you're compromising a personality trait. You would be compromising your needs, and you don't have to do that. You certainly don't have to do that.
Yeah, I think I have not been in a space yet where I fully felt like I was honestly myself. in a relationship. And I think that is something that I'm like trying to get to, like in a relationship. Like I'm like, I would love to just be the dad that I am when nobody's watching.
You were saying that.
Who are you and no one's watching? That was like my motto. Is like, can we please get to that level of us? And I'm like, I'm really trying to get to that level of me. It's like where I feel so comfortable that I am like, girl, my hair is down. Even though I'm bald head, my hair is down. We can be goofy as fuck together. And like, there's no judgment. Like, I don't need any stress from a relationship. Like, I can stress myself out on my own. Yeah. Like, I do not need you to stress me out because that's the bye girl, bye boy girl, whatever the case may be. Deuces.
Nice.
I'm not about to add that.
Thank you for that. Yeah. And then with the last question about your romantic life, have you been satisfied with your dating life in the DMV?
No.
That was so quick, like right on the nose. Okay.
No, I don't think that I don't know if I fully dived. I don't know if I've fully explored the dating in the DMV like I've wanted to. I've used the dating apps and they've been lukewarm, but I don't feel like I've like met any genuine like romantic or like platonic type of, platonic, that's different. Really romantic relationships here. And I don't know if I'm just like looking in the wrong spaces. I don't know if I'm still like thinking about my old relationships and comparing it to that. I'm just like kind of like in this like area of like, am I not the catch here? Am I not the like trend? Am I not, what is the case? Because I've been here for 4+ years and I still have not felt like I fully enjoy the dating space here. And I think that's also another reason why my mindset is somewhere else to relocate now. It's just because like I feel like I've done everything I've wanted to here, and romantically, I don't know if I'm going to get what I want from here. Like a lot of people that I've talked to or interacted with were transplants or did not live here, and that's been something that's interesting to me. Is like, the people that I've interacted with here has been very, 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 very short lived, or I just didn't feel like there was a connection for me with them. Like I don't even think I've been on like dates here for real. I've been here for 4+ years and I don't think I've been on dates, nor have I like dated. Like I've taken a person out or the person that's taking me out. I literally can probably count on like probably one hand, if that, how many dates I've like went on. So
people struggle to date. I think I
don't know why.
I mean, part of it is that we are not. I mean, it's part of it is hookup culture, which is also because it is really easy to get people to acquire people on like dating apps, which honestly is more so about intention. It's so easy to meet up to match and be like, all right, cool, you like me, I like you, let's have sex, versus, okay, look, I'm interested in, a relationship. So now that we're connected, we'll talk for a little bit, but let's schedule a date and we'll talk then. We'll get together then. And then with us, right, there's an added layer because it was harder for us to connect to each other in a safe way in public and in person if we weren't in gay spaces. So you and I came up as gabies through the apps. And, there are a lot of people who will proclaim to the heavens that things like Jacked or Tinder are specifically for hooking up. And that's just simply not a truth. Those are networking apps that people often use for hookups. And that whole idea that we have to accept that it's a hookup app is completely a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because I think a number of us have met friends, and some people have even met, lovers or husbands, or just simply partners on those apps. So it's absolutely what you make it. But
I've met my exes, my official like exes that I call from Tinder.
There you go.
My 2 past partners I met them through Tinder, and those relationships for the time. Granted, there was ups and downs. Those were people that I genuinely like cared for in that time. So, and I think I had cultivated boundaries in that space. So I think that's something I'm always trying to figure out in those space. Like I get now, and it's so interesting, like with this, like now being like with this platform, I've got a lot of people that interact with me, knowing me from the podcast, and like interacted with me because of that, which is like interesting in this space. Like, oh, I know who you are. Like, I know what you like and what you don't like, or like, can we like talk like behind, talk behind scenes?
Wow.
You're this and you're. I'm like,
had that experience.
I've had that experience now because like I think we're starting to like become, our spaces are becoming like, our brand is larger. Yeah. So it's like very awkward to like go to a space and they were like, oh, you're Lord Devery. And I'm like,
I am.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
You're that black boy Joy. And I'm like,
You know it. You know it.
Yeah, I am. And then we get into the conversation of like, so like, I would like to like, do this and do that. Or like on social media, I'm definitely getting that on social media now. Like people are just very direct with that. And I'm like, I don't like when people introduce me for this. Like try to get to know me for me. Don't bring up the podcast. Like don't bring up.
That's a catch-22. Because at one point it's like, recognize all the hard work I've put into this. And I mean, sure, this
But if your intentions are to like date or like hook up, like don't, to me it's like you're like, to me, it's like you're using my, like, this platform to be like, okay, girl, like, ooh. And I'm like, don't do that.
To that point, I don't like to be idealized, but at the same time, Devery, no matter who you date, they're always going to be aware, whether before or after you make contact, of this platform. And I totally get in the same way that, Kaylin has said, that Gary has said, that I think a number of our guests have said, like, you don't want people to date you solely because of your platform. But no matter what happens, your platform will be a reality, whether someone knows about it before you date or after. So I think, and I'm not trying to instruct you here, but I just
I get that. I think it's so foreign to me.
Accept someone valuing the fact that you put in work for this every week, right? With short breaks. We take shorter breaks than goddamn television shows do.
Yeah.
So
I think it's foreign to me. I think that's why. I think I'm still getting used to being notarized or something. When I first am like walking into a space, I'm not used to that, and I'm trying to be as humble as possible. Even
you are humble
to brag. I like don't. When people be like, "Oh, like, hey, you're very attractive. I know you from the podcast. Like, what's this? What's the tea?" And I'm like, "Oh God, I don't know what to say. I don't know what you want me to do." I was like, literally last Sunday, I literally went to a party and like two to three people was like, "Oh, I know who you are," and I was like,
"I know that's
how the fuck do you know who I am?"
Fucking good, like, right? Like,
so it's like dating now. I have to like think about, and I'm not like I don't have to think about it too much. I'm not on like the Kaylin level or the Gary's level, but I'm starting to process like people may know me now, not just because they saw me on like Tinder or like even people that see me on Tinder can say that they saw me now.
Yeah.
Or social or dating apps, like, oh, you're on I know you from the podcast and you're on here. So it's like all of that. Trying to find love out here, child.
A lot of us are, excluding me. Side note, you look great in this flesh tone shirt, and it made me think I would love to get together again to do another photo shoot with just a flesh tone. I have a whole thing planned in my head, so let's talk about it later.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, Mama.
We are gorgeous people, so that's probably another reason why people walk up to us and be like, "Hey, biddies, you're gorgeous." Yeah. To you, girl, we go next week is your time, so we're gonna get to that next week. But just to say, girl, you eat, okay?
Oh, thank you.
When I look at you, girl, I'll be like, my sister's that
thank
girl.
Thank you, friend. I appreciate that.
We gonna give our flowers.
We're gonna give our some flowers, child.
Yes.
So, you have been very vocal. I don't know so much on the show. I can't recall, but definitely to me and our conversations about what some of your goals are. And I know that a large part of that is like a host / like interviewer, which obviously we do here, right? Like this is part of why this platform exists. When did you know you wanted to be a host?
So I've always like known since I was a kid, I was like, I don't really like, I was good. I used to be in theater. I used to act, all that stuff like that, but I wasn't the strong one. Like I knew from when I grown up, I wasn't going to do those things as a career, but I knew how to entertain a fucking room. I knew how to get everybody up off their feet. I knew how to make sure everybody was like enjoying themselves. Like, all of that stuff. Like I used to host events when I was in like summer camps. Like we would have like summer showcases, and I was always the one every year hosting I was the MC for the events. And I just feel like I knew like I wanted to be in front of a mic. I wanted to be in front of a camera. And like even in college, I had YouTube and doing that. Even in high school, like I was like speaking at all the events that I could fucking speak at. Like whenever there's opportunity for me to speak, I was like, girl, give me the mic. I will talk. I will rant. I will do whatever y'all need me to do. And I just knew that was something I wanted to do. I just loved commentating, and I wanted to figure out how to make that a career. And then social media started to like become a popping thing where people were just like ranting about shit or becoming viral for their opinions. And I was like, girl, how do I do that? How do I do that but still be me and not feel like I have to like do something that I'm not comfortable with? So that's where I've always been wanting to do it. Like I have literal videos from me when I was in high school, like of me like turning on a fucking camera photo booth and like making up voices and videos of myself, like introducing like people who knew me. And I'm like in high school was like, this bitch like would just turn on like Facetune and like just talking to like this. There was a video like, this is the Ted show, like Facebook. If you go to my Facebook, you will see like the videos. But I just always liked talking. I just wanted the fucking center of attention.
You're definitely passionate about it. Like, it's one of the things I know most clearest about you. I have a lot of clarity about your passion for hosting. No, I mean, like, I'm so serious. And I think that's important, right? Like, your vision about that is so clear. Your dream about that is so clear. Despite wanting to do other creative things, like, I know that that's your passion.
And it's so funny. I felt like I knew I wanted to degree in that, but I feel like that was not the best degree to go into. So I think that's one thing I regret.
Okay.
One thing I'm always
still have a career. Like you work.
I know, but like I feel like I don't know if I would have. I look at the other girls and I want to name drop like Archie and like Ryan, and I'm not comparing myself and like Kaylin, even though like some of them don't have like backgrounds in broadcast or journalism. I've always like thought about like I would know the like little nooks and crannies of it. Like I'm just doing it off of like just raw talent, but like I feel like I would have the like fundamentals of like I know sometimes I flood my words on here and stuff like that, but I don't know. I look at that and I'm like, would I have been a better route for me to go than the degree that I went in, because I don't want to use it right now. But I think I start to think about that.
With that, right? Do you ever watch the episodes back or listen to the episodes back? And be honest
I
about
do.
That. Okay.
I do. I don't listen to all of them because some of the episodes are cringeworthy to me. But I do listen to our episodes. I do. I more importantly, I've listened to my ones by myself. In the beginning, when I went through that switch of co-host, I was taking the time to do it by myself. And specifically the self-motivation video episode, I was like listening to myself and I was like, oh wow, like you have the capability to do it. You can do it by yourself. Yes. You just never felt like you could do it without having somebody around. Yeah. But I do listen to myself. I did listen to myself back.
Do you put yourself back and make notes about things you want to improve?
Absolutely. I listen back to perfect what I would like to do in the next episodes, so that I can be better at this craft. And I know, like I said, I don't have to have a degree in it to be a pro at it. I just know I need to be passionate about it to be where I want to be with it. Yeah. Like, I don't care if like this person has like a degree in it or they've been to field experience. I have a resume now. Yes, honey. I can like show people. Yes. But I need to like, I don't know, like I hosted an event here off of the podcast. Back, remember like before I hosted an event, a red carpet event for a club opening. I did not have no experience doing that shit, but I was better than the people that had the experience. I didn't have the cards in my hand. They just told me who to introduce. And I was like, bitch, we got to make this shit up. And it was good.
Yeah, sometimes it's just about doing, right? Like, it's just about getting out there and doing it. There are a lot of people who are doing things, who are being recognized for doing those things, and I'm not even doing them well. But the fact of the matter is, you have the talent. Not only do you have the raw talent, you have the execution. You are one of the things I say out loud and to myself quite often, and I'm going to say it to you right now. I'm going to give you your flowers. You are so great at executing, at developing a vision and then doing it, right? There's so many people who have these dreams, who have these ideas, and they never execute. And one thing, on top of many other things about you, but one thing I'm definitely going to give you your flowers for right now is that you will do it. You will get it done. And for that, you know, you are absolutely going to get the success that you want. I think you just have to give yourself your flowers as well. The same way we tell everyone else here, and you're not alone, right? Like the same reason that it's a similar reason that a lot of us don't give ourselves our flowers. It's hard to develop that perspective, but this platform exists because of you, right? Like no one made this happen. You did. Man,
so, I don't, it's so funny. And I don't know. We are talking so like naturally now. I don't like think of it like that for some. In my head, I have like this imposter syndrome. Like, I don't even know how this came about. Like I literally in my head, like, how the fuck did this come about?
You did it.
You created it.
Yeah, you did it. Like you literally sat down and like, oh. Did you know what you were doing?
So I knew I had an idea. I just did not know it was going to get to the level that it was. I literally was like, I want a space to feel whole and comfortable and honest and transparent and just I knew YouTube was just not working for me at the time. I know I wanted to like have a space in the podcasting world. Shout out to the Read and like Let's Talk Bro and all that stuff like that. But like, I just never knew like how I could do it. And ironically, by the grace of God, like the Anchor app just like came into my life. And I was like, I can actually do this from I thought I had to have all this equipment. I had to have a studio. I had to have all these things. And me and my former co-host at the time, like when Anchor came out, we just was like, let's just like see what we can do. Yeah. Like, let's just see how we can do it. And I was like, I have all these ideas. I have all of this stuff. Like, just push me to do it. And that person pushed me to like be where I am today. So I appreciate their push and their drive. But like, I literally just like wanted to do this in 2019. Like in 2019, I had the idea. There were so many names for this show that like just so many like ideas. If I think about it, I also had things in undergrad. Like I have two of my best friends. I had like a show that I was going to call like In the Closet, and we were going to talk about like fashion and styling and all that stuff, Vari. And then there was a show that I was going to do with my friend Mimi called like In Between or something. And we were just going to like rant and talk about shit. But like, I just went to YouTube. So
so how did you settle on that Black Boy Joy? I was going to ask that, but then I was like, there's so many other things I could ask, but you brought it up. So how did you settle on that name?
I think at the time I'm always pushing for expression and creativity with our Black and brown boys. I think that is something that it like symbolizes me. Like one thing I was like, what can you talk about? You can be just confident about. Like you don't have to have no script. If the camera came on, what would you do? How would you do it? And what are you a pro at? And I knew that I was great at being proud of who I was or growing to be proud of who I was. So I was like, I wanted to do that, but I also didn't want to do it in a space that was typical to other platforms that had queer Black men in the space. So it was like commentary, very like pop culture-ish, very like not intimate I want to say, just being very politically correct, not intimate. So that name came from like Chance the Rapper starting that wave of that Black Boy Joy. Also just like researching and doing more. I like specifically like seeing more expressive like men in like spaces, or just like being just more like comfortable in my identity and sexuality. So I think that just came from like, I want us to have that. Like I want to bring Black men into this space and feel comfortable, confident, explore who they are, like figure out who they are, like as I am trying to as well. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let's just do that Black Boy Joy. and keep it simple. And it was very surface. Like, you can do whatever. Like, I didn't want to have, like, in the beginning it was called That Black Boy Joy Podcast, but I was like, maybe I want to go into like events. Maybe I want to go into like merch. Maybe I want to go into like other type of shit. So I just changed it to That. You were with me. We did that at that time together, That Black Boy Joy, so that I can like make it a brand or a motto or a like fucking wave. Before I, like try to make that a thing instead of keeping it in like a podcast space. So that's where it came from. But it was like literally like called like, the boys' room. It was like random names. I don't like Aries chat, like all of these things. And I just like, they did not like click with me. And I was just like, I don't like that. Like it was just, it was called like Two Black Boys. To our Black boys, what brings them? And I was like, those don't like connect.
I like what you came up with. I think that it was easier to brand it. And I think that, you know, people have taken well to it, including myself. So fun question. What is /are your favorite episode or episodes of the show?
So definitely, I'm gonna just say my self-motivation one, because that was the one I did by myself. I think the one we talked about, like us navigating our 20s, like being millennials, like what the fuck were we navigating? Also the episode with David. I think that David one was the first one where we had like a guest like that was not here. I think when I started to have my friends come onto the show, and I didn't really like process that those were guests. And I think they were all associated with me. But I think that David one was the like one that I listened to a lot to like start off like, this was that start to us beginning that guests that are like not local, you know, like we had D Breezy on the show. We had like Zach ZBJ on the show. We had like, you know, my friends on the show, but like David was somebody that was not here, that was not in the room with us. Yeah. And couldn't come to like our studio. So I think that was like the first one I listened to, and I was like, girl, what did we get ourselves? So I think definitely I listened back to that one a lot. I listened to the self-motivation one, our 20s one. And then like also like I randomly just like go back to our like go through our page and just listen to our snippets from our mic, like our guest. Like, I think I just like listened. I look at how far we've come and where we were in the beginning. Like, I was like, we did this overnight. Like this is our like 2 years in the game of us having these guests. Like now, you know, like I'm just like, wow. So I think those are my favorites. I think also like Samson was hilarious. Yeah. Like Samson was so funny when he was like just all these jokes. I was like, I don't know if you're being I was nervous. I was like, I don't know if you're for real. I don't know if you're not. Duran, of course. Duran was like hilarious. Like he was hilarious. Archie was like very fun, and like just Kaylin. Of course, he was one of the newest people. Like Kaylin was like hilarious. Baishal, and the funny thing was I knew Baishal before, and I just was like, girl, I knew him like for years, and I was like, girl, come on to the show. And that was like our first time like actually like I think talking like off of like social media. So that was like fun. But I think it was, I don't know, like I don't know what my favorite one is.
I mean, so look, just, I'm not trying to force you, but I figured that you would have a hard time picking one. So I probably should have made you pick one, because otherwise we've been sitting here forever.
If I have to like pick based on like my gut, my first like thought, my just like, this was like hilarious or like whatever the case may be, I want to say Samson. Just like my gut. We've had like amazing guests by all means, but I think like Samson's just caught me with the left.
I like that.
And Trash Talk. Stop about Drew. Drew was like hilarious as well.
Yeah, he was. I enjoyed Drew.
But no, I'm gonna just go with my first one. I'm gonna say Samson.
Okay. How have you? Because again, lots of work in doing this show. Both when we're broadcasting and then all the behind the scenes stuff. How have you balanced the show with your professional and personal life?
Luckily right now I don't have that much like task in my professional realm, but in my like before, I would always just like schedule time to cater to the show. A lot of my friends know there's like the day that we shoot Thursdays is when I like am like after 6. This is when like my time is catered to the show. Also, like I am very like transparent about what my passion is in certain spaces. So like if I have to do something like for this show, I'll make room for it. So like there's been times we had to like shoot later than expected. So I had to like move things around. But I think by the grace of God, what's happening right now with the pandemic is definitely allowed me to be more
flexible,
give more flexible with it. But I think before the pandemic, I think I just was like setting boundaries for things. Like I wouldn't work on projects after hours that I really didn't like want to work on. I wouldn't go places if I knew I had like to shoot or if I needed to work on like the outlines or the promotional videos and all of that stuff. So I just literally, I think I set boundaries for myself because I wanted this. This was my baby and this is what I was putting like my time and energy into. So I wanted to give it the time that it needed so it could be better every episode or every season that we drop.
Yeah. And I think that stands true.
We are some stuff driving. I'm looking at my head like, yeah.
This next question is a little more selfish.
Okay.
It's about me. Why did you choose me for your co-host?
Derwin, you were, when I first had you, so I knew I wanted you on the show. I didn't know in what formality I wanted you on the show. I know I wanted you as a guest to like talk about makeup and just like you as a person, but I really like just like wanted you like in some form of this show. And I didn't know like it was going to get to this level. I think you also had like this unique perspective that I think was different than mine, but similar to me. So I think that was like something that we could definitely bounce off of each other, but yet also give different perspectives of our experiences in life as Black queer men. And I wanted that into the show. So I think when I first had you on, I was like, we had a meeting. Like you came over and we were talking about like the episode I wanted you on. And then I think after that episode, because we had manifestations, and then I had you on for Black boys who do makeup. And then after that, I was just like, you want to do it again? You want to do it again? You want to do it again? And then I was in my head like, he's a co-host. Like, he's just a co-host. And I need to ask him that because I can't just keep saying, hey, do you have time this week to do the episode with me? No, I was like, no, bitch, you about to have time because you about to be on the show every Thursday at 6 p.m. with me. So I knew I wanted you, but I just didn't know how. Because it was funny because we knew each other before, but I didn't know your brain until like we like were in the same space before. And I was like, I would love to have him on the show. You were free. You were very like free.
I was free.
And I wanted to be. And I loved how free you were. And I think that was a contrast. I was becoming free. In my head, you already were free. So I was like, let's have that dynamic a part of the show. So we have people that are that are on that journey, and people that I felt were in that journey and probably didn't feel that they were, but like our listeners and viewers could feel or think that you were. So
I love that.
I was like, yeah, I think you just added something that I feel like, and clearly it's worked, that I would not be able to do without your energy. And I was like, I think this is like just a perfect match. So
thanks for saying that.
That's how.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it was ironic. Like we sat down and talked for like hours about manifestation, and I was like, you're on the episode. And then I was like, you want to come back? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, do you want to come back? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, I have to ask him would he like to come back as a permanent co-host for that season. And you were like, yeah, like I've always wanted to do this.
It's true.
Like, well, I have a platform. I'm by myself, and I can only go for so long by myself in my head. So I think I was getting burnt out.
You could have gone as long as Oprah did, Chad.
I know, but I got burnt
guests.
out. Yeah.
So the last question I have for you is along the lines of what we typically ask our guests. But I want you to be able to officially speak it, right?
Yeah.
What's your wildest dream?
I definitely would like to have my own hosting type of show, like Z-Way or like Ellen or like Oprah. Like I would love to have a commentary space where I bring guests, specifically black and brown boys,
I know that's right,
into the platform to unpack all of the issues that we face, all of just have fun, just like experience life together, just like create that platform, because there's no platform out there like that. So I would love to hopefully be a host out here making like impact in people's like lives. Like I just would love to just like have a platform where I just like, and cameras on, and I'm getting paid to literally just be me on the camera. Like I'm not over here sugarcoating anything. I'm not hiding things. Granted, there's things I'm not going to do on camera,
sure.
But I just feel like I want to just wake up and like, this is my job. You know, this is my passion. This is what I'm like ready to do, and all of that. I think I want to, definitely have a hosting job where I'm making some like impact in people's lives, or like I want to have a legacy. People know who I am, like for real, like dead ass. Like I want to walk in rooms and be like, "This is Dev knows what he's talking about." Like y'all want to talk about Black Boy Joy, y'all want to talk about being free. If y'all want to talk about like expression and being whole, like he will come in here and give you all the best information about it. And I, hopefully, I'll get that opportunity to do that in the near future.
And so it shall be. You absolutely deserve it.
It's needed. We do not have a platform where we just be coming on there doing for shits and giggles of black men. Like black queer men, we do not have a platform where we could just be literally a plum fucking fool. Or straight men come into the space as well and be plum fools minus the NBA and sports. But
that like barbershop show.
Yeah, like that. And even though that still has restrictions, and I've watched obviously.
It,
that has restrictions.
A queer person on there wasn't safe.
No, and that's what I want. I want to create the most safe space where we literally could just play games and then also talk about like, how are you as a person? Like, let's have these games, let's have fun, but then let's get into why we are here and you. So
I saw something like that for lesbians on like HBO. They were just sitting around shirtless. It was pretty cool. It was dope. They were just talking. So I definitely think that can be shirtless and braless. It was interesting. I loved it. I think
was it like late at night or something?
Yeah, probably. I mean, their titties
because they're like titties are out. I've not heard that. Is very unique.
I mean, so I say that to say that it's around the corner. Yeah,
I know, and I hope I am in that thought process. I know there are
laying the
other girls that are probably may come first to mind because of the notoriety.
There were 5 of those women, so trust and believe that the doors are opening for you. Well, friend, at least for now, that is all I have for you. I'm so glad we got all the way through my questions, and thank you for your patience and for answering all of them so honestly too.
I didn't know what was happening, and I felt good. I'm glad. I'm excited.
I really wanted to celebrate you.
I appreciate it because it's interesting. I don't celebrate myself enough. I do not celebrate myself.
That's why we did this.
It is so funny. I am literally a walking, like, what is it called? When I literally do things and I
don't call yourself a contradiction. We all struggle with it.
Okay, I am not a contradiction. I'm just a walking black man who is navigating his identity.
Who's navigating homophobia and racism and femphobia and all of right. So you are who you are.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I cannot wait until our next episode where I get to put you in the hot seat and give you the opportunity for you to tell our listeners and viewers about who you are as well. So,
well, I guess so.
Yeah. So where can our listeners follow you?
Where can they follow you? Where can they follow you?
So if you all would like to slide in my DMs, if y'all would like to take me on a date, or if I would like to take you all on a date, you all can hit me up at _Lord Devery on Instagram and Twitter. That is _LORDEVERY. And please do not be afraid to shoot your shot. Sometimes I might not respond, but that is just because, girl, I am overwhelmed with life. But I will respond.
You guys know you can find me on Instagram at Derwin King. That's DERWINKING. And also on Twitter at Free Negro. That's FREENEGREAUX. You may also DM me. I will more than likely respond. Don't take my cynicism for meanness. I'm actually very kind.
Don't do that with me either. I'm not mean at all. I just am just the awkward social butterfly, you know. If you all would like to continue the conversation on the podcast platform, you can hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at ThatBlackBoyJoy. And if you would like to be a guest or simply write into the podcast, you can hit us up at ThatBlackBoyJoyPodcast@gmail.com. And if you all would like to watch our YouTube videos, which we have most of them posted, we've caught up. I know the girls are probably like, where are all the videos at? But the girls, we have them up. We are catching up with you all.
Woo-hoo.
Please follow us and subscribe and like and comment on YouTube at That Black Boy Joy. And like we always tell our guests, please be so in love with who you are. That Boy Joy.